And good morning. Good morning. It is Monday. We're on day 5 of the Ashley Benefield murder trial. Was it murder or self-defense? Johnny skipped ahead, so she put a summary in the chat if you're interested. I personally woke up on the bad mood side of my brain today. So I'm gonna push through it. Good morning to the people in chat. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. And let's continue to watch the Ashley Benefield trial. Nice to see you, B Crumbs. This trial should be, I'd be surprised if it wasn't wrapped up and with the jury today. But it really depends on how many more witnesses the defense brings. So let's check it out. And we've started on a delay so we can zoom past the dead zones.
Thank you. Morning, Judge.
Morning, sir. My name is Judge White. I'm going to be presiding over this case. Just have a seat, make yourself comfortable in that chair. Get yourself about 12 to 15 inches from that microphone. Everything.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Will you tell us your full name and spell your last name, please?
Bruce Eric Ferris, last name Ferris.
Mr. Ferris, what type of work do you do?
I'm a licensed mental health counselor.
And how long have you held that position?
I've been doing that for 14 years. I've counseled individuals I just recently counted 1,000 clients, not including group work I've done. I also am a consultant in domestic violence and testify as an expert court witness in domestic violence.
Let's talk about your education for a minute.
Okay.
Please enlighten us.
I have a Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering. I graduated from the Police Academy in Gainesville, Florida, and I have a master's degree in mental health counseling.
And do you have any specialized education or training in a specific field?
Yes. Been to a lot of training seminars and certifications and various.
Oh my gosh, B Crumbs, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much for gifting all those memberships. This poor channel is feeling a little depressed lately. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Conferences in my curriculum vitae, I'll call it a CV, my resume. There's about 100 items listed of trainings that I've been to over the years.
For what specific field?
In domestic violence and mental health and trauma to children and trauma in general. And I could go on, but that's the general focus of all my work.
Let's talk about your work experience for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about it, please.
So as a...
B Crumbs is feeling quite generous today. B Crumbs, that's very, very sweet of you. Very, very sweet of you. You know, sometimes I think there's a few accounts that come in here and, you know, they gift me these amazing memberships. And I think I must know these accounts as different people because I didn't know them before. I don't know. I'm just grateful. Thank you very, very much. It's very sweet. I actually have I've been pulling clips for my new channel. I'm trying to figure out what to name it, but good morning, Christina J. I'll show some I'll show some clips that I've been pulling for my new channel in a bit.
Counselor now, my day is spent seeing individual clients. I specialize, like I mentioned, in domestic violence victimization, both men and women. I also see generalized mental health issues and typical things that a counselor would do, but I have a focus on domestic violence and family problems. I also counsel adolescent boys, most of which are going through the foster care system or adoption or divorce of their parents, etc.
All right, and what position did you hold prior to that?
I was a police officer in Gainesville, Florida, for 20 years. I graduated the police academy in 1993, got sworn in 94. And I retired in 2013. The last 10 years of that career, I was a detective, uniquely running. I was a lead detective of what's called the Domestic Violence Unit of the Investigations Bureau at the Gainesville Police Department. Over the course of that time, when I retired, I looked back and did a little search, and I had arrested or filed charges or got warrants on 500 different abusers over those years.
Mr. Ferris, give us an idea of your professional credentials. Lightly.
Sure. I'm licensed with the state of Florida, like I mentioned, as an LMHC or licensed mental health counselor. I have to keep up with education, et cetera, keep my license active.
Okay, I think we can get past all of the credentials. Thank you. Thank you again, B Crumbs. Hey, Caroline.
Certified upon the delay burning. And I also have a certification as a doctor for the state attorney's office, and who she sees and talks to, what she reads, where she goes, limiting her outside involvement, using jealousy to justify actions. Then a big one that I see often is minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of the abuse, not taking her concern seriously, saying abuse didn't happen, shifting responsibility for the behavior, saying she caused it. Another one is using children, making her feel guilty about the children, using the children to relay messages, using visitation to harass her, threatening to take the children away, male privilege, testing, treating her like a servant, making all the big decisions, acting like the master of the castle, being the one to define men's and women's roles, using economic abuse, preventing her from getting or keeping a job, making her ask for money, giving her an allowance, making her ask for money, not letting her know or have access to family income. And the last one is coercion and threat.
So Johnny cheated, you guys. I'm just letting you all know, and probably some of you did too, and that's okay. But Johnny's saying we can skip through this guy, and I've noticed that another person that seems very much like this person. I've noticed that another mental health counselor is on stand. All right. We're going to cheat with you and go forward. But basically that guy was there to talk about, yeah. So take it from Johnny and Teacup, the state cross-examined the last witness and said, well, he said it was, oh, sorry. He said he was sorry. Doesn't that make it okay? Now, I want to be clear. for me, I'm on the guilty side of thing after side of things after her testimony. Um, what I'm hoping through these trials is that people, including officials and prosecutors and things like that, get a much, much, much better understanding of domestic violence and the nuances, the very complex nuances of it through these types of trials, because it obviously it's needed. Oh, so this is not the long crime still had the title up for the last witness. So this person is not a mental health counselor. Let's see who this person is. Okay.
Down, left, right, however you need, up to 15 inches from that microphone. You can adjust it up, down, left, right, however you need. And if you just speak in a loud, clear voice, we should hear you just fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you tell us your full name, spell your last name, please?
Gina Torcia, Torchia.
Ms. Torcia, did you at one time work for an attorney by the name of Stephanie Murphy?
Yes, sir.
Back in June of 2018, would you have been employed under Ms. Murphy's guidance?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall exchanging an email with Detective Gillum on June 5th, 2018?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to review it?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to pass to you, Ms. Torcia, what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit number 25, and ask you if you can identify it for us.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's an email from Detective Gillum.
And does it include a response from you? Or is it a response to your initial email to him?
It's a response from my initial email to him.
Okay, and is it a true and accurate copy of your email to him and Detective Gillum's response?
Yes, sir.
Move to introduce it into evidence at this point, Your Honor, Defense Exhibit 25.
Same objection?
Yes.
Ooh.
All right, now,
Defendant Exhibit 25 will be received.
Ms. Torcia, did you on this day send Detective Gillum a copy of the South Carolina Domestic Violence Restraining Order?
Hi, Kat.
No, because we were not aware of one.
Okay. Does he send you a copy of the order?
He does send me a copy of the order, but there was never an order entered into the Charleston County Clerk's or the Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
So we had no proof of an order at the time.
Would you please read for us, Ms. Torcia, Detective Gillum's response to you on Tuesday, June 5th, 2018,
Gina,
6:19 p.m.?
I noticed something that you both need to be aware of, unless there's something I'm missing. If you read that section just before the judge's signature, it states the order will be in place 6 months of the day of the hearing, which was May.
Can you slow down just a little bit?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a fast reader.
Okay. well,
Sorry about
slow
that.
down a little bit for us.
Evelyn Wood School, huh?
Where do you want me?
You're good.
Okay.
6 months of the day of the hearing.
Which was May, November, which was May, November 3rd.
Ms. Torcia,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Would you start over, please?
Yes, sir. Gina, I noticed something that you both need to be aware of, unless there's something I am missing. If you read that section just before the judge's signature, it states the order will be placed for 6 months of the day of the hearing, which was May, November 3rd, not November 27th, and set it to expire May 3rd, which would be 6 months from November 3rd. Again, it's not something I would have made a physical arrest on, but the SAO will at some point make a filing decision. If I am reading something wrong here, let me know.
Okay, we can agree that SAO would be state attorney.
Yes, sir.
So Lastly, Ms. Torsia, this is Detective Gillum telling you that the order was in effect, the stay away order,
Objection.
as of November 3rd, 2017, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
This is Detective Gillum explaining to you.
Objection asked and answered. She read the email.
Sustained.
Hi, Petunia.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Ms. Torsia, let me pass you what I've marked as defendants Exhibit 26.
Can I see it, please? Can I see it? Can we approach this?
So, Ms. Torsia, let me pass this to you. I want to see if this refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you sent a copy of the South Carolina order to Detective Gillum.
Yes, sir. Yes, this is the order.
Yeah, without referring to it, my question is only, did you in fact, now that your recollection has been refreshed, send a copy of the order to Detective Gillum?
Yes, sir.
And then he responds to you a couple hours later with the email.
Yes, and there's also
No
an
further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Torsia.
Any cross?
Can you finish your answer, please?
yes. There's also a predicament where Detective Gillum, there was no order entered in to the clerk system in Charleston, and there was no order entered into the Charleston Sheriff's Office. So he had no bounds to make an arrest just based on this when it wasn't entered.
Sustained.
Ask
further
to
questions.
disregard, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, testimony regarding an opinion's witness about violation of criminal law is inappropriate, and you should disregard those last comments. Anything
further
else?
questions. Thank you.
That's sufficient. Thank you, Judge.
Redirect?
No.
Can the witness be released?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're released from your subpoena.
Would you like to? Thank you.
The witness is trying to be a little too thorough. So,
Your Honor, I wonder if we could publish the exhibit that we have.
so after this witness, they get into some sort of other discussion about things. Censor what's supposed to be happening. Maybe they're waiting for a witness or something, but they end up taking a break. They end up taking a break. And I'm trying to see what precipitates that break.
I think we're gonna have to approach.
Okay, well,
ask him if he took a report from Miss Benefield, what the date was, and whether or not it was her reporting about a tracker being placed on her vehicle. That's all.
And that's hearsay in the state's opinion, Judge. Because it's actually hearsay within hearsay, I think. That if he wrote something and asking him what he wrote in a report about somebody else told him, but it's at least one level.
All right, thank you both very much. The purported reason for the introduction of this testimony, according to the defense, is to show the defendant's state of mind and that it corroborates her defense. Both of those sound to me like the introduction of this report to the sheriff's office regarding a tracker is being offered for the truth of the matter asserted that a tracker was placed. That would obviously make this hearsay. It's the introduction of an out-of-court statement to prove the truth of the matter asserted. That being that a tracker was placed on her vehicle, thereby corroborating the testimony that has already been provided. My notes are that it's already been testified to that the tracker was placed on the defendant's vehicle. And my notes are that she testified, or it's been established, that the victim in this particular case admitted that he placed it on her vehicle.
Yes.
So that's already in. And I think I said this the other day, and it bears repeating. So this is self-serving hearsay. It's clearly excluded. I will just note a secondary reason would be the relevance of this report. The issue is not whether or not she reported it to the authorities. The issue is not whether it's true or it's not true. The case law is very clear on this. It's not relevant whether law enforcement believed her or didn't believe her. The purpose of allowing these prior bad acts, and I say prior bad acts instead of going into all the different ways that can be done, but in a self-defense case, once the defendant has established there was an overt act, prior incidents of violence and intimidation and threats can come into evidence. The case law is very clear. They may be true, they may not be true. The issue is, what did the defendant know on the day that the force was used? And so those prior acts of the specific incidences of prior acts to know about them. And the tracker issue, while not necessarily violent, certainly it's intimidating. And I allowed it. I don't remember if the state objected or not, but I allowed that in. The testimony is in. Whether she reported it to law enforcement is of no moment. Whether it's true or not, because put it this way, the tracker wasn't found, so it was just an information report. It doesn't matter if it was found or not. It doesn't matter if this officer believed her or not. The issue is, it's something she's aware of. She testified to an overt act. It's already in evidence. So at this point, this is not marked. What was it? I don't even, who's the next person? What was his name or her name?
Lindsay.
That was Deputy Lindell.
Lindsay. Scott
Lindsay.
It's on the
Scott,
top of the report.
Scott Lindsay, I'm sorry. Lindsey.
So, I mean, you could call him, but the substance of her walking in, him taking a report, again, none of that is relevant to the issue of her knowledge of prior incidents.
That's all I was calling him for, so, yeah.
All right, I do want to give you all a break, though. I know we started at 9. It's about 10:30. I think it's reasonable to go ahead and take a break. So why don't you guys take 10 minutes?
Thank you, Judge.
Court will be in recess for 10 minutes.
Maybe run and jog in place, warm up a little. That I did want to ask, did anybody begin deliberations amongst yourself?
Tomorrow.
Do you swear swear affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Hello, sir. As Debbie said, just make yourself comfortable in that chair. My name is Judge White. I'm going to be presiding over the case. You can adjust that microphone up, down, left, right as you need. Stay about 12 to 15 inches away. Speak in a loud, clear voice. It'll pick up everything.
Sounds good.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you tell us your full name and spell your last name for us, please?
Vincent Vizzacaro, Bizzacaro.
All right, Mr. Vizzacaro, I'd like you to try to keep your voice up if you could.
Will do.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm in real estate.
And where are you a realtor?
Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, and Sarasota areas.
Do you have any particular specialty?
Residential homes in Lakewood Ranch.
How long you been doing that?
About 8 years now.
I want to ask you whether or not back in 2018, you had occasion to deal with an individual by the name of Douglas Benefield.
Yes, I did.
Would you tell us the circumstances under which that relationship took place?
Yes, he contacted me looking for a home.
Hearsay.
I'll overrule at this point.
Thank you, Judge. Contacted you looking for a home?
Looking for a home he was trying to acquire through a business that he said he owned in Lakewood Ranch.
All right. And back in 2018, Mr. Vizzacaro, did you use emails to communicate with him?
I did.
And did he communicate with you in the same fashion?
Yes, he did.
Were emails back then a normal and customary part of your business?
Very much so, yes.
Did you preserve the emails as they related to each client's files?
I do that, yes.
And were the emails under your care and custody?
Yes.
Mr. Vizzacaro, I'm going to pass to you what we've marked as defense exhibit number 27.
Can we approach, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah, did you see Rocket Man streaming from her car? Outside of the courthouse. She was right in on that action.
Lean there on your chair, and I'm going to squeeze you back into the jury room for a couple of minutes. I will get you back out here as soon as I can. Don't begin deliberations. Don't talk with anybody outside the jury, and no research on any of the issues. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, another nader.
Your Honor, I would like to sidebar here is
Sidebar.
All right, you all can have a seat. Mr. Vizzacaro, what I'm going to do is at this moment, I need to do some research and speak with the attorneys. So I'm going to excuse you to the hallway. There's a thing called the rule of sequestration that has been requested by both parties. And that means that you cannot discuss your testimony or the questions asked of you with anyone else. You can't discuss other witnesses' testimony or what questions they were asked or testimony they gave while hearing court, or do any research on the case, watch it, or anything else.
Understood.
All right, we'll call you back as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go 3, 6.
Understood. All right, so I'm thinking I need about 10 minutes or so. So we're going to take a 10-minute recess, maybe 15-minute recess. I want to look this up as well because I want to find a case that gives me some direction.
Okay, so that was about 8 minutes ago. Hey, Solo. Was Solo tardy for the party? But was she sporting her pro se bun? You know, I didn't look closely enough to see what she was wearing. I just noticed that she was there. That's all I noticed. I can see clearly people are jonesing for a little bit of Lol Cowlana, Lol Rocket Man. All right.
Because
What I'm
she
going to
couldn't
tell you,
file on
though, I
me.
am going to advise you, Miss Oriani.
That's fine.
You do have the right not to incriminate yourself.
I do.
I don't know.
And I would not like to speak on anything that has to do with that.
Please talk.
Yep.
Thank you. Are you going to let me talk now? Are you going to interrupt me?
You can speak. Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Thanks for your permission.
This is your courtroom. Your Honor, I would like to sidebar here. Is this, Your Honor, sidebar?
There's no jury here.
Okay, well, that's
So
me.
you do a sidebar to keep a jury from hearing things, but there's no jury here. So
Okay, then
if you have an objection, make an objection.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Let's stop saying we're going to get there and just get there.
In March of 2000, I'm trying to be classy for you, Miss Jade. All right, now, here we go. You just said on the record.
I don't understand, since both of you do true crime and you follow court, how either of you think this is proper.
Doing this right because it's mentally stressful, right? So
Then I would have to shut down the internet.
no, you're not going to shut down the internet because they can talk about me all they want. Oh, and I'm sorry, I can't go back.
It's not my fault that you forgot half your case. I mean, if she hadn't cross-examined you, she should have. It's not my.
That's fine.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine at all. I'm not stupid. People may think I am, okay, but I'm not.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
I'm sorry. Okay, but to be fair, she's not the only funny person in court, right? She's not the only she's not the only funny person in court.
Grounds.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. No. I'm done. Mr. Tag, I'm done with you. You're in a courtroom, sir. And I'm not going to tolerate it at all. You're not special here.
I love how she says tolerate, and I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to tolerate it.
You're in a courtroom, sir. And I'm not going to tolerate it at all. You're not special here.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not. That's what it is.
And who could forget the master of okay.
That's okay. Okay. Right? Okay. Right? Okay. Right? Okay.
I'm not a cat.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
We're
a look.
trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
But then she attacks his girlfriends.
Dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy, going back and forth between texts with one another, but I never want to hear it again.
Judge, you're so gorgeous, Miss Judge. I just have to tell you, you're gorgeous.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Now, as I said, I'm planning a new channel that doesn't, it's an experimental channel. It'll be, I've decided, hey, why can't I try to start a channel that isn't constantly dragging YouTube and see if it gets shadow banned. So I'm working on that. And the concept of the channel is that, is that exactly what a cat would say? The concept of the channel is just, people have a tendency to think that criminals are smart and brilliant. Oh my gosh, Solo. I'm sure every single male in the universe has had that idea. So it's not surprising that a young woman would have that idea as well. So anyway, the concept of the channel is that people have a tendency to think that, the picture they have in their mind of a criminal is Walter White. Is Walter White, Walter White, this like brilliant but troubled man, but he's brilliant. He can outsmart everybody. But the reality is, criminals are a lot more like Lana. You know what I mean? Or they're just much more stupid. They're a lot more like, they're just freaking stupid people. By and large.
All right, you guys ready to go back on the record?
All right.
Yeah.
Printing something.
That's what I want to highlight.
All right, the objection is hearsay. Any other objections?
Judge, also, I would like to make a relevance argument that the fact that he's going back and forth in this email about a specific property, there's no relevance to it.
All right, proponent, go ahead, sir.
Well, I think it's admissible, one, as a business record, which we've already qualified. Business records traditionally contain hearsay, and under the statute, Your Honor, specifically subsection C, we got this email from the state. However, we then gave it back to the state in its isolated form. They have not filed any objection to it, so they've waived that objection according to the business records exception. We also believe that it shows Doug Benefield's state of mind, that he was in the process of buying a home directly behind Ashley Benefield's home during the time period when the South Carolina injunction was in full force and effect.
All right, anything else, sir?
No, sir.
State.
Judge, I found a case I would like to put on the record, Thomas v. State, 993 Southern 2nd 105 from 2008. It is specifically addressing an email that was put in as a business record
I didn't have long to read this, but it was an email that was sent to an apartment complex manager of some sort. And it appears as though it was not qualifying as a business record. And additionally, the hearsay within the email was not admissible. There is a yellow flag, and I'm trying to look at it now.
Hey, Patricia. By the way, you may have noticed that we got a very generous supply of memberships, free memberships from B. Crumb this morning. She gifted 40 memberships, you guys. So if you got a membership this morning, it's most likely from her.
All right. Did you review Thomas V. State, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you want to make any argument on it?
No, sir.
So Thomas V. State is helpful. So 993 Southern 2nd 105 1st DCA. Although it was the state introducing the email against the defendant, the state sought to introduce an email that was prepared by an employee of the apartment complex where the victim lived and was murdered regarding statements made by the victim that she had someone living with her that was not on the lease for a year and she wanted that person out. And obviously the state was introducing that to prove that that was the defendant and that the victim was trying to evict him, and that was part of the reason why he then murdered her. And the first DCA found that even if the email from the employee's side qualified as a business record, and it seemed to, I don't see where they actually found and held that the email was a business record, which was my original question, but ultimately concluded that the statements that were made and then by the employee and then communicated through that business record, those statements were not, well, first they're hearsay, but they were not part of the records and the data compilations of the business itself. And that although hearsay may exist within exhibits that fall within an exception, such as business records, those hearsay statements must still qualify under a separate exception to the hearsay rule. And in this particular situation, if I'm understanding correctly, what the defense is asking is to introduce Defendant's Exhibit 27 through Mr. Vizzacaro as his business record that he keeps. But according to Thomas, and then they also cited a prior case of theirs, Van Sant v. State, VANZANT, 372 Southern 2nd 502, Florida 1st DCA 1979. Even if this qualifies as a business record, which again, I have not found a single case that says it does or doesn't, and I don't see in my review of Thomas where it says it is or isn't. But the statements of Mr. Benefield are being offered to prove the truth of the matter that he's looking to buy a house in Lakewood Ranch are hearsay without exception.
But the exception, Your Honor, is his state of mind. It clearly shows Mr. Benefield, let's not forget what the defense is here. The court's allowed me now to bring in evidence of domestic violence. And here is Mr. Benefield, Judge White, negotiating with the realtor to buy the house directly behind the home where Ashley Benefield lives. And he's doing it at the time the South Carolina domestic violence injunction prohibits that. He would not be able to buy that house directly behind Ashley Benefield's home. It's like 200 feet away, 100 feet away. And it's a continued pattern and practice. That cooperates.
Do you want to be heard on 90.8033, then existing mental, emotional, or physical condition?
Judge, his emotional, mental state, that still has to be material to a material fact. And his state of mind at that time is not a material fact. Also, I think the defense is misrepresenting some of what's in the email. Mr. Benefield never said he wanted to buy the house. He said he wanted to rent the house, and he said, I'll have to check with Ashley first. So I think some of the misrepresentation that's going on, we should probably just read the email. But I don't think it has anything to do with his state of mind. His state of mind at this point in time is not relevant.
a minute. Hey, Lala, people are getting banned. People are getting banned from Court TV and Long Crime for stating their opinions. Are you guys being naughty when you state these opinions, or like what's going on?
And then are you going to then just argue during closing? I would assume.
Yes.
All right, so there's going to be no more witnesses. This is the end of this road to establish.
Yes. This is just.
Witness-wise.
This is an isolated act of DV. Yes.
All right.
Judge, if she didn't actually know about this, then I don't know that it's relevant.
Well, and that's what I was thinking, because, hold on, it's not an act of violence, though.
Right.
Or threat. But under 9803 subsection 3, a statement of the declarant's then existing state of mind, emotion, or physical sensation, including a statement of intent.
Okay, people, where people, people have the right to feel however they feel in my chat, either for the defendant or for the victim, for the defense or the state. Okay. What I won't put up with in my chat is people attacking each other in my chat for that. Hey, Some Beach. I'm personally on the side of guilty. Don't come at me for that, though. And that's my opinion, but my opinion is not the end all be all of the end of the world, right? And neither is anybody else's. That's personally my opinion. Yeah, B Crumbs gifted 20 memberships this morning. So you can thank you. And yeah, I'm also not a victim blamer,
And in the absence of a reason why it should be kept out, I would like to admit it.
All right. Thank you both very much.
Really,
I'll allow the admission of defendants exhibit 27.
When it comes to a victim,
90.803.6 for the realtor's portion and 98.03.3 for the Benefield portion. With the understanding that, again, this is a relatively collateral matter.
In and out, Judge.
All right, can you bring the witness back in, Mr. Vizzacaro?
Who are seemingly very inconsequential. They have, you have your membership turned on, your toggle turned on to accept the membership yet, right? And Lala,
all right, welcome back, sir. Just take your spot back there.
Not really.
In that chair, we're going to get the jury back in and begin your testimony.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We'll bring them in.
I see no human naughtiness or in a little bit of naughtiness. You know what I mean? I mean, when people are starting purposely get into other people's faces or spaces just for their opinions, it's unnecessary.
It's up to you.
Yeah, me too, Patricia. If you start attacking the other person with the opinion, and you don't even know that person, I am. If you guys have any channel name ideas, I've come up with a bunch of channel name ideas. The problem is I don't want it to be too silly.
All right, y'all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. You ready to begin deliberation?
I'm sorry, you guys. I keep talking when the court sound is on, and it makes me sound terrible. It makes me sound horrible, horrible.
Told us you were a realtor and that Douglas Benefield had contacted you relative to a house in Lakewood Ranch.
That's correct.
All right, I'm going to pass to you, Mr. Vizicaro, what I've had marked as defendant's exhibit number 27. That would be the email messages that you referred to before when we were last in front of the jury, correct?
Correct.
Is that a true and accurate copy of the email exchange between you and Douglas Benefield?
Yes.
What is the date of that exchange?
The last email I see here was March 12th of 2018.
March 12th, 2018. Your Honor, at this time, I would move to introduce that into evidence on behalf of Ms. Benefield.
All right, same objections, overruled. Defendant's exhibit 27 will be received.
Now, Mr. Vizicaro, I know you've told us that the home, do you recall the address of the home?
Yes.
What was it?
5060 Newport News Circle.
All right, I'd like, with the court's permission, to dim the lights, and we're going to put a diagram up there for you.
Oh my gosh, B Crumbs. B Crumbs coming in with another 10 memberships. Maybe Lala will get one of these. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, B Crumbs.
The beam?
Okay. Would you please show us on that diagram where the house was that Mr. Benefield contacted you about purchasing?
Woo!
This one right here.
Right there. Now, that house, is it directly behind the house in front of it with a red dot on it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you know, Mr. Vizicaro, who was living in the house with the red dot at 11331 White Rock Terrace?
No, I don't.
And do you know whether or not, if I may, you know whether or not you don't know who was living in this house?
No.
This is the house that Mr. Benefield was interested in purchasing.
Correct.
Do you know whether or not Mr. John Sant lived in that house?
I don't know.
Give me just a moment, Your Honor. I don't believe I have anything further. Okay. Should I delete you? Mr. Vaccaro, my oversight. I'm going to pass to you what I've marked as defendant's exhibit number 28. I ask you if you can identify it.
Yes, that's the house.
That's the house that Douglas Benefield had contacted you about purchasing.
Correct.
And is that in exhibit 28 a true and accurate reflection of the locale?
Yes.
Does it have a dot on it?
It does.
Does it have an address?
It does.
What is the address?
5060 Newport Circle. Newport News Circle.
On
Excuse me.
behalf of Ms. Benefield, you want to move to introduce that as Defendant Exhibit 28?
No objection.
Received.
That's all. Thank you very much, Mr. Collins.
You can wait.
Gotcha.
Cross.
So you've had the opportunity to review the email, correct?
Yes, I have.
If I could just grab it real quick. And for the record, this is State's Exhibit 27. And it appears as though you're speaking with Mr. Benefield about potentially this house coming up, or the price being lowered on this house, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. So you were contacting Mr. Benefield about it?
I reached out to him about that.
Okay. And he actually said he may just want to rent. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And he also said he didn't want to do anything without speaking to Ashley first.
That was a comment that was later in the conversation. Yes.
Okay. And if I could show you State's Exhibit 27, it's very small type at the top. So you might be able to.
That's why.
For the record, defense exhibit.
I'm sorry, Defense Exhibit 27. Does he say there that he needs to speak with Ashley first?
It appears that way. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. No further questions.
Can you redirect?
No.
Can the witness be released?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am?
Yes.
All right, sir, you're released from your subpoena. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, can you state defense? Can you approach real quick?
This trial has been a sidebar palooza. It has been a sidebar palooza.
Your Honor, I would like to sidebar here. Is this, Your Honor, sidebar? There's no jury.
All right, call your next witness.
Defense would call, Your Honor, Dr. Jason Quintel. Yeah.
Response for affirmative testimony about.
This is a return witness.
Yes.
He was originally called from the state. He's one of the therapists. The marriage counselor.
Well, doctor, welcome back.
Hi there. Thank you.
As you may recall, my name is Judge White. I'm presiding over the case.
Sorry, this is the marriage count. I always forget to turn off the sound. This is the marriage counselor that was called by the state earlier.
Good afternoon, Dr. Quintel.
Hi there.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
As a result of the counseling sessions that you had with Douglas Benefield, did you reach any conclusions with respect to Doug?
Objection. Improper testimony. Opinion testimony.
Can you go ahead and approach?
The sound in there is just so horrible. We are actually, we started out behind, but now we are totally live. We are totally caught up. See, I'm hitting the advance button. So we are completely caught up. So, we skipped past the Power Wheel testimony because we were trying to get ahead, and we, we took it on Johnny's recommendation that it was a very boring and not super relevant testimony, and we skipped ahead. But pretty much all the testimony this morning has been boring and not super relevant. And it's been very, very interrupted by these lengthy sidebars. So what I've been doing is I have started pulling, clips about how dumb criminals are. And so this is actually here's a fun one. Here sometimes I just have to listen for them to come back. I got it. You got to watch this lady, you guys. This lady tries to get her Facebook chat to pay her bill. Okay? She's live on Facebook. She runs out of money, so she's like, "Well, I just need to raise money on Facebook."
Okay. So you're not going to pay your bill?
No, I'm going to pay my bill if I have my phone.
Are you going to pay your bill right now?
I'm going to try.
Where's your phone?
In the bar. Probably in my bag, or sometimes it vanishes because God just does that shit to me.
I'm confused. How are you going to pay your bill with your phone?
I'm going to ask people on Facebook to pay my bill. Morgan Wallen. He does do that.
All right, sit here and do that.
Well, Correa, we can.
Wait out here for you. Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, I do.
Where's that?
In there.
All right. So
I had money in my account.
are we going to pay the bill today?
I want to.
Not with asking Morgan Wallen.
Okay. My dad.
Your dad means nothing to me. To be completely honest, he means nothing.
I know. NYPD cops hate you guys too.
That's fine. It doesn't matter that he's NYPD or not. Your dad is not anywhere.
My mom can pay my bill. I went to her house to try to get it.
Okay, is your mom willing to come here and pay your bill right now?
Yes, if you call her.
Okay.
If you call her, she's not going to believe me. She thinks I'm a psycho. She's stealing my kids from me. We can trauma bond all day long, but we're not going to do that.
Okay. Is this your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you believe this is real?
Are you a registered owner of the vehicle?
Yes, I am.
You don't have anything inside this vehicle to pay your bill.
This is real?
Do that. Must to her house to
NYPD or not. Your dad is not anywhere.
My mom can pay my bill. I went to her house to try to get it.
Okay, is your mom willing to come here and pay your bill right now?
Yes, if you call her.
Okay.
If you call her, she's not going to believe me. She thinks I'm a psycho. She's stealing my kids from me. We can trauma bond all day long, but we're not going to do that.
Okay. Is this your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Like sometimes I think people end up intentionally go onto body cam to say the weirdest things. That sounds beautiful, Patricia.
Are you a registered owner of the vehicle?
Yes, I am.
You don't have anything inside this vehicle to pay your bill.
Made a date? Woo!
No, I have $7 on it. Say my bill.
Popular 15 cents.
Careful.
boyfriend to come and pay it for me, he will do that. But I need a phone to do that.
What's your bill? Go ahead. I'm sorry?
I can print it.
Cool. Yeah, she's sitting here trying to come up with all this stuff about how she wants to try to get them. Yeah, so we're not.
Well, she wanted off. Yeah. She didn't have a car that she got. Yes.
You'll have to tell us about your date, Patricia. And since the person is a stranger, we need to make sure you're safe.
She walked here, like she walked in here with no car, and then she drove off in that maroon car. So someone had to drop, like, I was like, either she's a magician, she's a movie star that's just trying to cause trouble for PR. Like, I don't know what, I just can't read it all, and I'm like, I gotta. Larry will pay my bill.
Larry? Who's Larry?
Larry, my ex-boyfriend. All my ex-boyfriends are friends of mine. They'll pay my bill. They have jobs. But I need my phone to work, to call them, and my phone is dead. I can go to my house and charge it.
Do you guys want to press charges?
She can't pay her bill yet. I can walk there and leave my car here and my bag here.
Okay. You leave your bag here? You stay here often? Or
I'm a squatter.
Okay. All right. Where's your residence right now?
Right there, 130.
Which car did you come
Water?
You leave your bag here? You stay here often? Or
I'm a squatter.
Okay. All right. Where's your residence right now?
Right there, 130.
Which car did you come here?
In the red car.
And every time they ask her a question and she answers as if they're supposed to you should know. Look, you're dealing with me. You've known me forever. It's me. You know that's my red car and I live right over there.
Perfect. Thank you. And you said you're not going to pay this?
No, I am going to pay it tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that's not going to help me. All right. Come on. Give me his money back.
Really?
Yeah.
Like tomorrow.
You do. You're going to jail right now for defrauding an innkeeper.
I did it before.
You're failing to pay your bill.
I'm not failing to pay my bill. I need my bag so I can make some phone calls. And my pizza and my meal.
No, you're not taking that. They don't take food in jail.
That's awesome.
Oh, I have to bring in the money, right?
All right. 27.9 here. You already did.
Now I'm not going to get my kids
26, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Hey, Tiggy.
Do you have anything on you that's going to go into the
I
jail?
have a knife.
St. John's. Okay.
You should get my bag so I can call my dad. He can pay my bill.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be 10-15. My friend's still
Or my mom. I'm not a defrauder. This shit happens to me all the time. All your friends know me.
So you said you have a knife up your...
Yes, I do. You want to come get it?
No.
I didn't think so, asshole.
Okay.
Work all day. So you know.
So yeah, that's that dumb criminal. Hey, Tiggy. That's that dumbass criminal. Check out and note there's a theme. There's a running theme between these dumbass criminals. Okay. Here's another one. This girl is an influencer. They all think they're influencers, but this one is an influencer. And this, this is a little bit. Oh, they came back to court. Turn on the audio again. Let's see what they have to say.
Can tell. So, a couple of questions about your practice.
Yes, sir.
I think you told us your specialty was trauma.
Correct.
And for purposes of practicing your profession, various clients come to you and relate their backgrounds, correct?
Various people come to me and they've had traumatic experiences in their background. Some may be upfront in presenting them, some may not. But purpose of treatment is to get now to work better, and sometimes that requires unplugging and healing emotional wounds from the past.
And as part of your art and science, you are trained in picking up and diagnosing various cues in your effort to reach conclusions to try and help them.
I'm not following the question.
As part of your practice, you're trained in being able to observe and detect various cues from these patients, are you not?
What do you mean by cues?
Indications of areas of trouble. For example, you don't always have patients that come out and say, oh, I am traumatized because of this. Rather, they may speak in obtuse terms, and you are charged with, among other things, trying to figure out where the trauma lies and why.
I would answer that slightly different than the way that you're framing the question. So when somebody comes in to see me, my job is to understand what's not working and really what's not working in their life today.
Okay.
If that leads us to unplugging earlier trauma, which frequently it does, great. But that's the purpose when they first come in, is me understanding what's going on with them today that's not working, and hopefully saying it back to them in a way that they're getting it, that I understand.
And in that process, you rely upon various statistical manuals and things that are reflective of your profession, do you not?
I don't do specifically a lot of diagnosing, so I'm not going to use the DSM frequently. I'm going to understand the background of why trauma sticks and how to get that better.
And to understand the background of trauma, have you in the past, or do you periodically consult learned treatises and periodicals, things that help you to reach that understanding?
If you're asking, do I go to continued ongoing training and development? Yes.
All right. Now, in this particular case, did you reach some conclusions about Douglas Benefield?
Objection. Qualifications.
Sustained.
Did you counsel Douglas Benefield?
I did, yes. Both Ashley and Doug.
All right. And in counseling Douglas Benefield, did you listen and absorb the various points that he was making to you?
Yes, both when they came in as a couple, and then when I did individual therapy with them separately.
And when they were in there as a couple, was part of your process observing the dynamics between the two of them?
Yeah, I wanted to understand why they were seeing me and what stuff we wanted to get better. So certainly I'm paying attention to what they're telling me, how they're communicating, what they're communicating, and such.
Okay. And part of that included how they acted when they were together and how they acted when you saw them separately.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Now, in making those observations and questioning them and listening to them, in your effort to try and identify the objective, did you reach some conclusions about Douglas Benefield?
Objection. Foundation.
Would you approach, please?
My goodness gracious. They can barely get near a topic before it goes to sidebar. And it doesn't make for a very perfect trial.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that clarification. Perfect. Thank you so much for that clarification. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yes. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. It's so disjointed and disruptive that it's even hard to get a grasp for what the defense is trying to get out of this witness and what the defense was trying to get out of the last witness.
A brief deviation, Dr. Quintel. Tell us what degrees you hold.
So I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in social work, and a PhD in clinical sexology.
How long have you been practicing as a psychologist?
I got my master's in 98 and started working in the public school system. So since 98, 2006, I started a private practice.
And since you've been in private practice, Dr. Quintel, can you give us an idea of the number of patients that you've seen in counsel?
Thousands.
And your specialty in counseling patients runs to all three of those fields that you have degrees in?
Yes, I have a background in all of that, but my specialty is in trauma resolution.
Okay. And when we speak of trauma resolution, explain to us what that is.
So I think the first thing that somebody has to understand is trauma, or what we go through, isn't troubling because it happened, which is the conventional wisdom, is that because it was awful, it still hurts. But we're not troubled because it was bad. We're troubled because when it happened, emotionally, the brain short-circuited and doesn't know that particular experience ever ended. So where therapy missed the boat is we felt that people buried and repressed, and we have to help them process and get it out of them. Where the methodology that I use is the reverse. It's about getting the good news in to the emotional part of the brain that doesn't know it's over. Think of it more like unplugging the memory, so emotionally the brain can read it as data about something that happened versus where it's been stuck as happening, which explains why when somebody frequently either talks about it, is reminded of it, or is in something similar to it, emotionally they're transported back to that awful moment, right? If you have a friend telling you about something that was troubling them, and as they're telling you about it, it's almost as if they go back there to that troubling moment.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal is to keep the person more emotionally present as we unplug the emotional effect that the past has had.
And in that process, do you typically employ listening to patients?
Yes.
Do you typically employ making suggestions to patients?
I don't know if I would say it's making suggestions versus more kind of having a mutual outcome of how we want them to be in mind. So if I'm kind of creating a future self or an outcome, it's got to be something that they're good with, or if it shows up as conflictual, we're never going to be able to reach the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now,
so more instead of a suggestion, it's more of kind of a mutual outcome.
All right. And you went through this process with both Doug and Ashley Benefield?
I did, yes.
Your Honor, I would tender Dr. Quintel as an expert in the field of psychology.
Do you want to voir dire the witness?
Objection.
Do you want to voir dire the witness as to experience, training, and knowledge?
Yes.
All right.
You do most of your work now in trauma resolution, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. And how long have you done trauma resolution?
Since 2006, October.
So for many years. And you said you don't do diagnoses anymore, correct?
I don't look at diagnoses with people. I look at people because the notion of the diagnosis will help in understanding maybe some of the background of why somebody acts, but you're really working with the person. So if somebody says to me, do you treat OCD or, bipolar? I would say I work with people, not the disorder.
Okay. So when you're dealing with, for instance, Doug and Ashley Benefield, you're not doing so in order to create a diagnosis or evaluate. I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's a difference between therapy and a diagnostic evaluation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so your relationship with them was what?
They were referred to me by another therapist, and my job was to do trauma resolution. What I was told is that both had their own trauma, and there was some stuff within the relationship, and that I was tasked with unplugging the emotional effect of those experiences.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions?
Maybe you have a question.
So in treating people, not the disorder, you still, though, do you not have the capacity and the training and experience to understand if a disorder is present?
Yes, sir.
At this point, Your Honor, I would now tender Dr. Quintel as an expert.
And I
You
would
already heard
object.
any- Same objections?
Same objection.
All right, I will rule the objections goes to weight, not admissibility. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So, Dr. Quintel, all right, we're rolling.
Okay.
Did you reach any conclusions with respect to Douglas Benefield?
Yes.
Would you tell us what those were?
Based on the conversations with both Ashley and Doug, Doug occurred as someone who was domineering, and the terminology that I would use at times would be super controlling. He was very dedicated to wanting the relationship to work. He was very interested despite conversations with some of the disparaging things that Ashley had said to him. He was very much still wanting this to work, and their plans were to move to Maryland.
All right. Did you reach any conclusions with respect to him being a real alpha male? Do you recall?
I would say that Doug occurred as somebody who was very built and well put together. And yes, I would say that he would fit the stereotype of an alpha male, in my opinion.
Did you conclude whether there was an intimidation issue present?
Ashley stated that she was scared of Doug.
Did you reach any conclusion, Dr. Quintel, about whether Doug's depiction of himself as being godly was reliable?
Objection outside of expertise?
Oh,
you can answer.
Can you say that again, please?
Sure. Did you reach any conclusion with respect to Doug's presentation of himself as being particularly godly?
Yes, I think it was over the top.
All right, and did you reach any conclusion as to whether it was genuine?
I did not think it was fully genuine, no.
Did there come a time when you inquired of Doug why he would want to remain in this relationship?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Ashley had a lot of disparaging comments, stuff with CPS, claims of abusing their child. And I was concerned and curious why, with all of that negative stuff that may even negative affect his job and career with government, why he wanted to stay.
And was it true that you felt he was hell-bent on being together?
I know that he really wanted the relationship to work.
Did you conclude that he was never going to let her get away?
I don't know whether that's true, whether or not. I don't recall that.
All right, let me pass this to you and see
Please.
if it refreshes your recollection, if I may.
Thank you.
Does that refresh your recollection, Dr. Quintel, as to Doug's perception of letting Ashley get away from him?
Yes, I said that to the detective. I said it seemed more like I'm not going to let her get away from me.
Referring to Doug.
Yes, sir.
All right, and lastly, Dr. Quintel, did Ashley have anything to say to you about Doug's interest in Emerson and whether or not it was just as
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you reach any conclusions, Dr. Quintel, about Doug's interest in the child as opposed to Ashley?
Objection, Judge.
I'm going to sustain this to the opinion.
Was there an incident on one of these occasions when Doug was in your office that you thought was very strange as it related to the child?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled as long as it's factual.
Yes.
Can you say that question again, please? Thank you.
Was there an incident that you observed that you found particularly puzzling between Doug Benefield and the child, Emerson?
Yes, at the time that I spoke with the detective, I had an appointment and Doug had waited in the reception area, and it was a couples counseling, and Ashley was out in the car with the child. And I thought it was unusual that he didn't go out and see her. Given that they had the relationship they had, it may not be as unusual as I thought, but I was coming from having two little girls and what would be in my mind to do.
And how long was Doug sitting in your office at the time? Do you recall?
Well, it would have been at least an hour. I don't know how long I was in the appointment before.
And in that hour, from what you observed, with Emerson, the child, outside in the car, Doug Benefield never once went out to say.
I wouldn't have been able to observe that because I would have been in session. I just knew that he was waiting in the lobby. I don't know whether anything other than that.
That's all, Your Honor.
Cross.
So you mentioned that it bothered you, or at least you noticed when he didn't go out to see the child. How long did you observe Doug Benefield in the waiting room?
I would have seen him when I first went out to grab the client, and then would have seen him when I came back out of my office.
And because of that, you came to the conclusion that he never went out and saw his child.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, in your direct examination, you said you met with Ashley Benefield alone 5 times.
Yes, ma'am.
And you met with Doug Benefield alone twice.
Yes, ma'am.
And you met with them together twice.
Yes, ma'am.
So the majority of the time you met with Ashley Benefield. Over half of the times you met with her.
To do trauma resolution. Yes, ma'am.
And her discussions with you and her recitations of things played into your decision about this opinion that Doug was being domineering and super controlling, did it not?
Yes, they were comments that she made and frustrations that she had within the system.
Okay. So it was not solely based on things that you were observing in Doug Benefield.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. No further questions.
Redirect.
Nothing further.
Can this witness be released?
Yes.
State.
Yes.
All right, sir, you're releasing your subpoena. Thank you very much. Here you go.
Thank you.
I'm curious about why the state didn't ask
Can we publish the?
for his expert opinion about her, since he was qualified as an expert. That was good clarifying cross, because he she made him admit that his conclusions were based on things mostly that Ashley said.
One photograph was already in.
One.
And then one we added together with the.
Yes, so members of the jury, we're going to pass these out and publish them. I'm not rushing you, but I'm going to talk while we're doing that. I think at this point, it's a good time for our lunch break. It's about 10 minutes after 12. So take your time. I want you to look through all of this, look through these exhibits, and then I'll excuse you.
Exhibits 26 and 27.
Those 27 and 28, and they'll be marked on them. There's a little sticker on each. Which should.
Okay, so they're going to take their lunch. I want to hear when he tells them to come back. Well, yeah. Does he say anything? My goodness. What are these people doing? All right. Well, they're about to take their lunch. So we're going to take our lunch too. But before we take our lunch, I want to show you one last thing. I'm going to show you another dumb criminal. Let me just make sure they're not doing anything interesting first. Look at this dumbass influencer criminal, okay? These are the types of criminals I'm talking about.
Sting. Content showcasing animal abuse has sadly become more common on animal and human intermingling has been playing out over the last couple of years. It's the depraved tale of a degenerate female Instagram user, Denise Frazier. In 2023, Denise Frazier was a 19-year-old woman from Myrick, Mississippi.
Hey guys, it's February 20, 2024, and I'm Denise Frazier.
And on the surface, she seemed like your typical young, aspiring female beauty-adjacent influencer. But what laid underneath the surface was an insidious sexual desire for man's best friend. In some of her videos on TikTok, Denise would record herself twerking in front of her dogs, as well as showing off her various sex toys right after showing footage of these pets, making some pretty disgusting implications along the way. In between the days of February 23rd and February 28th of 2023, Denise was...
So this stupid, idiotic criminal goes on to her social media accounts and twerks and does sexual gestures in front of her dog, and then gets caught with actual bestiality and gets arrested for it, and then gets caught again, you guys. Gets caught again. So this is another thing I have about social media, is what happens is these stupid, idiotic criminals think they're, they think it's a smart thing, but it's actually a disgusting, dirty thing. They use social media to basically dog whistle their crimes, right? That's basically what this girl did. She dog whistles her crimes, and she gives people an indication of what she's willing to do so that they will go behind her paywall and see what she does behind her paywall. And then when they found out what she did behind her paywall, she got arrested. Okay? Because what she was doing behind her paywall was truly, absolutely disgusting. And she got arrested for it not just once, but twice. So that's how dumb criminals are. But, the Hollywood wants to sell us this myth that criminals are fucking brilliant Walter Whites running around fooling all of us. No. Sorry, Kathy. Didn't mean to ruin everybody's lunch. Let me just see if they're doing anything interesting over in court. Nope, still sitting around doing the same old shit. So we're going to come back after lunch. We're going to come back after lunch, okay? You guys go try to eat your lunch. Here, let me try to show you something cuter and funnier before you go to lunch. Maybe this will make you more hungry or whet your appetite.
Poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
I thought it necessary. That's hearsay, I guess.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
And
Alfred!
Okay. So, what are they doing in there?
That the request for an exhibit list from the defense of the items that they expect to introduce has been provided?
Yes.
All right.
And certainly a list of witnesses that are expected to be called.
Yes.
I didn't get a copy of that. If it's been amended from the witness list that I received, it looks like it was filed.
There are just so many procedural issues. All right. I will see you in about an hour, okay? After they come back for lunch. And maybe, I'm really, really hoping that we're going to end today and see some closing arguments, but it may not be till tomorrow morning at this pace with how many freaking sidebars.
Your Honor, I would like to sidebar here.
They have that's going on. So anyway, I will see you guys soon. Have a lovely lunch. I will talk to you soon. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. And thank you very, 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 very much, B Crumbs, for all of the gifted memberships. You made a lot of people's mornings nicer today. Oh. A photo from yesterday? Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's end on this. Here, let's see if I can quickly upload that beautiful photo. Everyone thank Patricia for that beautiful image from yesterday, from when she went out and got herself a date. Things are looking bright. Things are looking bright. All right, we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for being here. Hit the thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.